Welcome back to Danny Rants. Across from me on the couch today, we have an African promoter based in Australia named ATM. He works for a bunch of different event companies and he does a bunch of different nights and whatnot. But I brought him down here today to have a conversation. And how are you today, my brother?
Not too bad, bro. I've been pretty good. Just kind of busy lately, so kind of tired, but we're good though, you know?
Yeah, I appreciate you coming down today. I know you guys
love,
are just flying in
love.
from Perth, I think.
Yeah, we flew in last night at midnight.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it for sure, bro.
What were you doing over in Perth?
We actually had some events.
So what were you doing in Perth?
So we actually had a tour going on. So we just had finished in Adelaide on the Friday night and then flew in back to Melbourne on Saturday. We're here for like 6 hours. We ran a nightclub, jumped back on a plane, and then ended up in Perth the next morning. We threw an event there as well, and then we came back here. So we're just on tour right now.
Yeah, cool. So for people that don't know who you are, can you explain sort of what you do in the event space, what kind of music you work with, a little bit of background information on yourself?
Yeah, of course. So our main thing is Afrobeat, hip hop, R&B. We run, all sorts of events from ones that are like, I guess, more chill to proper nightclubs to ones that might be a bit more, I guess, rowdy in a sense or more energetic. Our main thing is, I guess, community. Like based off how we started with the rhythm and every other event that we have, we always end up building community, and we have these, massive events that only work in our sort of scene, But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys are doing thousands of people these days, right?
Numbers, brother, numbers. It's grown over the years. Definitely grown over the years.
Yeah. So when I first met you guys,
Yeah.
I don't know how old you were. It would have been, what, 6, 7 years ago?
Yeah, something like that. I think I was like maybe 20,
Yeah.
19, yeah.
And you guys were running, at the time, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you were running a small event at a pub in Keysborough.
It was, I think it was closer to Chadstone maybe?
Yep.
So some little small, very, very small pub, but it went crazy, bro. People came through. People would travel from someone who was telling me they traveled from like Werribee or some shit just to come down and see our party. And that was like second party in.
Yeah. Because I remember then, I don't even know, do you remember how we connected? Because I don't even know how, I remember you guys coming down to meet me.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly, but I know Ollie, I think someone had contacted Ollie about an opportunity to, I guess, promote a night there. And we ended up linking up, we spoke for a bit, and the first event actually went pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's how it happened.
Yes, I remember. So and from my kind of understanding, you guys were sort of doing, there obviously was African nights throughout Melbourne, but the difference between what you guys are doing and what others were doing at the time was that you guys were more modern music. It was more for like a younger sort of African. When I say African, is it just African, would you say, or no?
No. Look, in the beginning, it might have been, let's say 60%, just to throw a number out there. It might have been 60% African. But now we're at a point where it's pretty, I guess, mixed, where we have, crowds from all over coming in now. It's one of those now.
So what kind of other nationalities do you say?
Bro, we have a lot of, we have actually Spanish people, we have Asians that come through, a lot of Europeans, well, a lot of white people that come through, bro. People from all places love what we do right now, so they're all just there with us. Like a melting pot,
Yep. We'll go back to that in a second. I want to say one thing first before we go into the next part of the conversation. But I remember when you guys did your first event, I came down, and the one thing that I noticed, which is kind of a bit creepy, I've never seen it like this on this podcast before, but with the chicks were so amazingly hot. And I was like, and it was every single nationality, like you said.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I've got to keep working with these guys.
I'm telling you, bro, like we have some very, very, you know what? I'm not going to.
Yeah.
You go. Yeah.
But it's like, it definitely brings like a melting pot.
Yeah,
and the people that it's like, when I use the word hot, I think it's fashion. It's the way they sort of, they hold themselves. It's like a lot of confidence.
It's like a nice crowd,
A very, very good crowd. Yeah. So you're from Africa. What part of Africa? I know that the rhythm events you guys do, there's boys who are Mauritian, Ethiopian,
Eritrean,
Sudanese, like there's all different type of Africans. So whereabouts are you from?
So I'm actually from South Sudan, brother.
Yeah. And were you born in Australia?
No, I wasn't. I was actually born in Khartoum, North Sudan, but I think I came here like in late '02, and I've been here for 22 years now, I think.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
So what age were you when you came here?
Like 4.
Yeah, okay. So you don't really remember being back home?
No, I was young. I really didn't have much memory of of back home. But yeah, I'm pretty much just Australian now.
Yeah, of course. So when your family moved over to Australia, what was the reason?
Obviously, it's always the thing where the parents want to create a better life and create better opportunities for their kids. So if they get the opportunity to move out somewhere that they can create these opportunities, and they'll do it, So my parents moved there for that reason.
Yeah, so it wasn't to do with the war or anything like that?
Yeah, look, we left that pretty early because I didn't really stay in Sudan when I was born. I was like maybe a couple months old, and we had traveled by, I think we traveled by boat over to Egypt, and we stayed there for a while before we came here. So
Yeah,
I don't
interesting.
think that really, I don't remember that really impacting me or my family as much like that.
Yep. Understand. From having an African background, right, and your parents coming here and now becoming a promoter, is that something that like is a bit of a kind of weird conversation to have with them?
If I'm being honest with you, I don't think my mother knew I was running nightclubs until like last year,
Yeah, wow.
around my sister's wedding. Like I kept that a secret. I know for the longest time, I would tell her like, I'm just throwing birthday parties, stuff like that. Innocent stuff, community parties, stuff like that. I would never tell her. But now that she knows about it, she's all right with it, I guess. As long as, we're being safe and we're happy, we're sort of, being creative with it, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And why do you think there's that challenge where you had to keep it secret?
It's not the way she wants me to go. She would like a university degree, but that's not what everyone does. Like I'll be honest, I tried uni. I tried uni like four different unis. I tried it. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I'd rather have something that's more hands-on. I've tried corporate work. I didn't like that either. But with what we do now, it's like I'm able to connect with my people, create a safe environment where everyone's able to party, and I enjoy it. And I can make a living out of it as well. Whereas university, I felt miserable, if I'm being honest. I'd rather this.
Yeah. And so what sort of inspired you to sort of start getting into this space at the young age of 20?
I actually didn't start at 20. So at 20 was when I just that's when I think Ollie really got started, I guess. Started at that point. And I was around it, but I wasn't really into it yet, And even when other clubs that the boys that started, like Caramel, when they started, I was there, but I wasn't really there as well yet.
Understand, yeah.
I only started getting into it, I think, Ollie and I actually had a conversation. I was making a good amount of money at the job that I had at that time. I was working a government job. And he goes, look, cuz, it's pretty much like that scene from Wolf of Wall Street, where he goes, show me a check and da-da-da. Ollie goes, look, cuz, we can do this, this, and this. We can earn this much, this much. I said, cuz, if we're going to do that, I can quit my job right now. And I actually quit my job. I actually just left the job, and from there we just started running nightclubs. It started off with other clubs like Barry and Basement, and we just really got into it like that.
Yeah. And so what are some of the other guys that you sort of looked up to or ran events before you in sort of this space?
To be honest, I met most people. I didn't really meet many people until later on. I think I had met you, and then maybe earlier in the days, Boris, Stefan.
Yeah. Good lads.
Ollie as well. In terms of African promoters in our scene, it was pretty much Coda.
Yeah, of course.
I know Coda from Tresillo. He's another one that was doing this shit before us as well. Other than that, I don't think I've met too many other people. I've met people along the way, but it's sort of been like later.
Yeah. So this is something that I know, we've discussed this. So when I first met you guys, we talked about it, and the issue was you guys were having problems securing venues. And the reason was because of the fact that these were African nights.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was the Apex stuff going on.
Yep.
And there was like, I guess, a media campaign that was creating sort of fear. And I guess I was one of the guys that gave you guys your first opportunity because I was like, you know what? I do a lot of high risk stuff. I done what people deem high risk.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of the Samoan gangster rap stuff and the drill stuff. And then I was like, well, I can't say why this can't work either. So throughout your career, has that been a challenge that you've had to face trying to work with venues?
Always. It's always been something that is going to be a challenge, I'll be honest. Because like, till this day, like I can try to find certain venues and I know the owner of that venue doesn't quite trust my community like that, or they think that we're a nuisance. And I get it. Like you want to protect your brand, you want to protect your space, your licenses, whatever, you want to protect all that. So I can't really be too mad at that. But then when people do give us the opportunity, those are the type of people that we, I guess, keep around us.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys have been super loyal to me too.
Nah, that's big love, bro. Like, bro, I remember even the first time meeting you, it was the craziest thing because we showed up to Empire and then you pull up like in a Hilux and you got like footy shorts on and you got thongs on. I was thinking, you know what? This guy's laid back. He's probably a sick cunt. And it's been good ever since then,
Yeah, true that. Yeah, and I've always like tried to support you guys and do whatever I possibly can. But there's that. So some of those sort of issues you said, people want to protect their venues or whatnot. But like, can you tell me some of the stories that have happened, like when you've gone to a venue or the procedures you've had to take, or situations that have arisen that have sort of made it difficult to you guys? Because I know a couple of the stories, but I'd love to hear from your end.
Look. The main thing is fights. I remember early in the days when we first really started this, there was a situation where security and a bunch of African guys were fighting.
This is my venue, wasn't it?
That was your venue.
Yeah, I remember.
Early days. Yeah. So while this is going on, I've already got the thought in the back of my head, we just started this, and we need to protect it because there's nothing else like this in the city right now. This is still very young, and we've got to protect it. So I'm talking to the African guys who are trying to fight. I'm saying, no, it's not worth it. This. I'm trying to get security to go back. And then at some point, I just remember hearing like this is deep. This is me putting my life on the line as well because I'm about to get hurt, but I'm willing to do it. I just hear someone say, "Who started you on it?" That hearing that was like the craziest thing to me because how can you not understand that I'm trying to protect you? I literally yelled at him. I said, "Bro, if you hit him, you go to jail. But if he hits you, he goes home. Like is this even worth it?" And we lose such a great thing that we just created. It's like a brand new thing. It's a baby. Like we gotta take care of it instead of us trying to take care of it. These guys are looking to fight and cause problems and make it harder for us to create that sort of safe space.
And has that been a challenge for you guys from the whole get-go? Because like knowing you guys, I know you've always been passionate. Hence why I've sort of stand by your side and always like gone into bat for you guys. Because again, like working in the Avenue, like you talk about that incident, there was another incident with a gun that I'm sure you remember.
Yeah.
And I always was like, this is fucked. Because like where I sat, the security guards were like, well, we don't want to continue to work on these events. But we'd have 800 kids there. One incident. That one incident would then deem that potentially you couldn't do another event again.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I always was like, I felt like it was unfair. Yeah, that makes sense. So for you guys, has that been something that's resonated with you? Like when you're talking and dealing with this stuff within your own community, like that one incident can create such a bad impact. Is it something that's sort of been hard to kind of work with?
I think it has, but then it's like, I think people that we work with are noticing that we're actually trying to stop it or decrease the amount of stuff that happens. Like I remember there was a time where we had a Stop the Violence campaign, and that wasn't even just our group alone. Like we got other groups involved, like Caramel, Selector at the time, Basement, every other I guess event or group that was around us. We got them involved because we don't want this to be like a normal thing for our community. We don't want this to be how the people in the industry see our community, and like we don't want to be people who are shut out by the rest of the community. So we obviously we're working towards this, and the people who are with us, who stuck by us, they see that we're working towards it.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem when it comes to working with them, but if we were to try to go out of our way to find something new, potentially it could be a problem. But I feel like over the years we've learned and figured out different ways that we can sort of get around it.
So it's like the people who work with you are the ones who get the best result, and the ones who don't want to work with you are the ones that get not the best result, sort of thing.
Correct.
So when you work with the venues, I know sometimes you'll approach venues and they're gung-ho to work with you guys, and then they'll figure out that you're African promoters, and then they sort of give you an excuse or do whatever.
Yeah.
What are some situations that you can kind of explain to me on that?
Look, mainly it's like when we are in Victoria, I'll say in Victoria it's a lot better than other places. Like there's, for example, if we travel to Adelaide, there's situations where venues are just straight out saying no to you because they don't want your crowd, and they'll be honest with you. That is fine. We appreciate the honesty. That is super fine. But then there's sometimes a venue will say yes to you. I'm not going to drop no names, but they'll say yes to you, and then later on, once they do their research on who you are, closer to the party date, we've got this going on. We're fixing these lights. We can't let you in because of this and this and this, which is bullshit. We know already. We already know why you don't want us there. But that's the excuses they give.
Yeah. And how does that feel like? It's like something that I've never had to deal with, right? Like when I go to a venue, and I'm not going to lie, like my audience, I dealt with high level music and out of suburban people. I had so many fights. Like some of the events I do, we'd have like 4, 5 brawls, 6 brawls, whatever. Like, and then on top of that, we had a lot of drug use at points and stuff that I did, that GHB problems and whatnot. So I came with issues at times, yeah.
Of course.
But for me, people were still willing to let me go through their venue. Like, how does that feel, kind of getting lied to or being told, hey, you can't work with our community because of something that you're not actually doing?
Yeah. Look, I'll be honest. Early on, it used to feel kind of weird, like I used to be upset about it, but I'm at a point where it's like, it's not that I'm not mad about it. It's more like it's just like I'm used to it. It is what it is. I can't really do much about it, but I always find other ways to do things that I want to do. I find other resources, other people to talk to. I don't need that one venue, or I don't need that one promoter who is acting like this.
I feel like it's a credit to you guys, and I've watched you go through it for the last 6, 7 years now. But it's like watching other guys get to where you guys are at now. Like you guys are doing really well. You're killing it. As you said, you're living off it as a full-time wage now. But the odds were stacked against you.
Oh, for sure.
There was not really any guys that I knew before you guys did it that were African promoters who were making a full-time wage out of it, or had weekly nights that were doing thousands of people that were influential and whatnot. And I know some guys, like you mentioned, that have come in that have sort of, still beside you guys and try to help you guys. But regardless, like no matter the knockbacks, you guys continue to move forward. And for me, it's like, it's amazing to watch. Like, because culturally, I think this makes sense. And you're not the first sort of, I guess, nationality group that's been objectified, really, in a sense. There was Asians and there's Arabs and there's whatnot throughout the time. You guys are the latest, but it's I guess it's from where I sit, it's like, I think it's a really, really good testament to you guys, like character, that you continue to sort of take the knocks and continue forward. But at the same time, I fucking hope that that stops happening,
Look, I'll be honest. I don't think this is something that would stop happening. I think the next thing that we can do is we become venue owners ourselves. And
Yep.
then that's the only way that we can actually stop that from happening. Because those same people who aren't getting opportunities like we weren't, we can now create that opportunity for them. That's the only way I reckon.
Yep. So one of the things that does happen, the reason why people do say no, though, obviously, other than some people might be racist or whatnot, is that there is an extreme violence that comes with sometimes with these African events.
Yeah.
So you working with them, like, what have you seen some sort of extremely violent sort of stuff throughout your time working in the space?
I've seen pretty much everything, anything that you can think of that, like people are. I think there's crazy people or scary people in every culture. Obviously, when it comes to African culture and my culture, it's like it's been really highlighted, really highlighted. And if I'm being honest with you, there's a lot of situations that might occur at the club, or some situations that might occur at the club that will be, made bigger than what they are. Yeah, but then the thing is, these same situations that happen at our clubs will be happening at every other club as well. But no one looks at it. People ignore it. People always ignore it. But in saying that, the crazy stuff that I've seen is like we've been in situations where we can have rivals in the club. They'll be fighting in the club. Like they'll party together, whatever. As soon as they get out, it's all madness. Like they just pops off. But that happens. I feel like that happens in every crowd.
Yeah, true. You're right. So I've dealt with all different types of nationalities the last 2 decades, but it does happen. You're right. Like there's, and then you look at it again with like the Caucasian white culture. I reckon they attribute back in the day, maybe not now, but they attributed the most amount of fights. Like they had the most fights.
They still pop off, bro. Like I reckon they still pop off right now.
Yeah, and then I would say that the thing is, which is kind of crazy, is that dealing with different nationalities. I would see people say, hey, we're not gonna let people in from Cranbourne because we keep having problems from Cranbourne. But they wouldn't say we're not gonna let white people in. Like whereas when there was other groups and stuff like that, there would be positions where there might be like multiple nationality that would have multiple problems, and people would be like, hey, maybe we got to relook at this. And it's like when you come from a different place, it's not sort of your traditional meat pie eating Australian. They get looked at as individuals, whereas like different communities get looked at as a whole. And that's why when I worked with you guys, I used to be fucking very passionate about it because I was like, it's unfair. Like these African kids are doing such a good thing. They're trying to kill it. They're trying to do something different. And then one incident happens, and then you're like, no, we're not going to work with these groups anymore.
I mean, look, I'm glad. Like, we're really glad that you took that chance because I feel like over the last couple of years we've been able to develop certain systems to, I guess, not control, but like more lower the risk that that happen on the night. We've learned how to talk to people and deal with certain situations, and we've learned who's who, and all that sort of stuff. So now we're in a place where we can control these environments a lot more. Everyone's safer, everyone's happier.
So when you do control these environments, because as again, I've worked with you guys earlier and I see it now, and I remember it was Wild West at the beginning, no doubt, not denying that.
So fucked, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty hectic, but now you come a long way from there. And what are some of these things that you guys have been doing to make this safer place? This scene a lot more safer.
I mean, look, one of the first things we did that was like a major thing was we did the whole like airport security thing, like basically getting what did and stuff like that.
Yep.
But look, there's two reasons why we did that. One, obviously, we don't want anyone walking into the club with any weapons, but it's also one of those things where if I'm a patron that's never been to this club and I see that they're doing that, I'm gonna think immediately, oh, they're trying to make sure that everyone's safe. So automatically, I'm gonna feel safer there anyway. So that's the two reasons why we did that. But that's one way. I think the main thing that we've done is we've really gotten to know people. We've actually gotten to know the community. I think that's one of our strengths. We know pretty much everyone that comes to our clubs. Like, maybe not on a first name basis, but we know them, we know who they're friends with, and if anything does pop off, we know who to talk to, we know how to talk to them. Pretty much, yeah, it's just about knowing the right people.
Yeah. So when you de-escalate in a situation, so how do you sort of do it?
Look, I come into a real calm. Usually, like, I'll deal with a couple of situations and I'll pull them aside. And I want to always try to pull them away from their group of friends or from security because I feel like that's what's making them more, hyped up and G'd up. So I woke them up and I'll just ask them, hey, brother, what's happening? Just talk to me. I'm going to try to help you. Once I get some information out of them, I'll go talk to the manager of the venue. I'll look at some footage if I have to. I'll talk to them and figure this out. I'll come back and I'll explain to them what's actually happening. I've realized over time, if you talk to them in a respectful way, because they'll fucking listen to you. Like, it doesn't always have to be like aggressive, get the fuck out of here, you're banned. Like, it doesn't have to be that. It never has to be that. And the fact that we figured that out, like, it helped us a lot. And in every club that we run now, we're able to talk to people like that, de-escalate every single, pretty much, but our success rate with this is fucking high, because it's like what?
It is now, yeah.
It's beautiful, it's a big number now.
And you guys are doing like there's Caramel 333 is a 333 nightclub down at Larks.
Yeah.
You do Berry, you said basement. There's rhythm events. You're doing stuff all over the country.
Of course.
And it's like that. That's the thing that people don't see is like they might see these odd stabbings or deaths in the news. And again, it's highlighted probably more because of this hysteria and I guess kind of anti-African culture is really what it is, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
If we're going to call it out, it is what it is. But it's like that stuff's still happening at pubs, at local areas. That stuff, people are still getting killed in venues in Sydney or they're getting killed at fucking gambling venues, but you don't see it because it doesn't make good enough news. Exactly. So how do you find that challenge of like, you guys are under a microscope all the time, you make up a small minority, but the media's on you all the time. Is like that a challenge in the same breath?
It was, but I feel like even though there's still like a lot of bad happening, I feel like my community's done pretty well for itself over the last, let's say, 2 years. Where if you look at the AFL, you've got a fuckload of shooters in there now.
Yeah.
You look at the NBL, same situations. The A League might even have 1 or 2, whatever.
It's like sport is like the way to break Aussies' hearts, and at the moment you guys are dominating.
They love that shit, bro. It's like we're doing a little bit better for ourselves. So I think currently, like, it's like a mix of both. Like you'll see one day you got fucking Joseph they got Peter Wall in the newspaper for doing great, The next day you'll see so and so Sudanese guys stabbed, or what, stuff like that. So I feel like right now it's kind of like balanced in a weird way. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but weirdly it's balanced.
No, you're right.
But
so you look at like
it only get better from here. That's how I see it.
Well, you look at, and that's why again when I originally spoke to you guys, because I'd seen it when there was like different nationalities, like the Asians, for argument's sake. Originally, people didn't want to put them in their venue because they were worried about stabbings, because that was a big thing that was happening. And then over time, now they're a desired group that everybody wants in their venues. So when I remember working with you guys, I was like, I could see the same thing. It was like culturally, it was cool. There was a lot of like good heads in there. It made a lot of sense. There was like a lot of brand attention. And you guys were getting big numbers very quickly. And I was like, cool, there's a little bit, there's risk here. But at the same time, over time, which we're sort of starting to see now over like the last 4 or 5 years, this will become the most desired audience that will come. And I still I still will say it, and I said it to you guys when I first met you.
You said it a long time ago.
Yeah, and I'm guarantee you, in 4 to 5 years' time, it's like there'll be venues fighting one another for African clubs. Like it's just the way it goes. And exactly what you're saying, like it's leveling out. It's like exactly what happened. Then it'll just disappear. Like it'll just go away, and then we'll move into another area.
Which is fucked. It'll be on to the next group, which is so fucked up. But
yeah. So like with that, saying that, like obviously it's not just African nights, it's obviously hip hop in general, but there's an underlying gang culture when it comes to these sort of groups. How do you deal with the gang culture? Is it something like, other places like, for argument's sake, in King Street, the would straight up just ban gangs, they weren't allowed in? Is it something that you can do, or is it something that is sort of like, you just have to sort of deal with it place to place? Like how do you guys deal with that part of the landscape in the nightclub world?
Look, I'll be honest, we don't treat them like they're like parts of gangs. Like the way we treat them is like we get to know them personally. Like I said earlier, I get to know their names, who's their friends, who their friends are, everything like that. So we don't treat them like gangsters. So they don't act like gangsters in the club. If they do pop off, then we can talk to them in a certain way, and they just calm down.
But are they gangs?
Look, whatever they want to call themselves, homies, group, whatever it is, they're whatever they are.
Yep. Yeah. So do you think there's a hysteria, like the hysteria that comes from the media and stuff like that, or even, other people like club owners and whatnot? Do you think it's overplayed, or do you think that...
The media, in my opinion, the media made them gangs to everyone else. So they became what they got called. They actually literally just became that. That's how I see it.
Yeah, makes sense. Because I heard like with the Apex stuff originally, that's not even a real gang.
It's just look, the way, like, I feel like it might have just been like a bunch of little kids trying to make some bread. And it's not always easy to get a job, or your mom and dad don't have the bread to give you. So it's like you got to find other alternatives to do it. It might have been just one of those situations. That's how I see it.
Yeah, cool. So other stuff you guys have worked on, as I said, we're working on different clubs, but you have a lot of like cool international artists that come through.
Yeah.
So what's some of the international artists you've had recently, or even just throughout the whole process you've been working on?
I'm gonna start off with our first one that Ollie and I did back in, I think it was 2021. We did an artist called Omale. So we did only one show in Adelaide. DJ Friday was handling the rest of them, but we did that one show, and that was the first time that we'd ever done a show by ourselves, and that shit was intense, but it was nice, And then look, that was even another situation with that Omale concert where we already had locked in a venue. Ollie had already locked in a venue, and then the venue cancelled on us last minute because they know we're African as well. It's an African crowd, so Ollie has to fly out to Adelaide. I'll link him up there, and then we just work and we just figure it out. We end up getting a different venue, and we actually made it work, And that was like our first ever situation where we had to make it work.
See, that would have been a surprise. That would have been a stressful
Because
situation.
it was,
And it was sold out, right?
yeah, sold out. Adelaide was one
So
of the
even though it was
shows.
sold out, the venue still didn't want to take the risk.
They just don't trust us at all, bro. Like at all. And then like literally a couple months later, we did our own tour, our own countrywide tour with another artist called at the Kunle Gold. Our team was real small, real small. It was mainly just me and him. We might have had a couple other people who might have helped us. Alexandre, who was our tour DJ as well, who who traveled with us. Sorry, from doing after parties for people like boys have done after parties for people like Central C, H, from Summer Walker coming to the clubs, SZA, fucking Usain Bolt, because Usain Bolt came to he emceed at the club, bro. People like Dave Chappelle, like this is so crazy. It's not even just that artists anymore; it's that actors, comedians. It's huge, bro. It's huge.
What was it like meeting Dave Chappelle? Did you get to meet him?
Guys, I briefly spoke with him because when he came in, it was sort of weird. Like he just came in last minute, I guess. He just wanted to come out and have fun. So this was actually at Caramel. So we opened the back just for him. He had his own personal DJ, got him his own bartender, booth girls, whatever it was. It was just him, his wife, and like a small team. We ripped off the sides. So like people actually were just looking into it. They didn't jump the reps or anything, but they were just looking into it. He was cool. He was dancing, having fun with his wife. He was a normal guy. Bro, he's a huge tipper. Tips the waitress like fucking 600, 700, bro. It's fucking,
Did he really?
Yeah, he just keeps going, bro. It's fucked. Yeah.
Did he stay late?
No, he stayed for maybe like an hour, I think.
Yeah.
Just had a bit of fun and left.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. So when these guys come through, like how does it transpire? Like, Dave Chappelle's in town or, Usain Bolt's in town. How do you guys land these sort of, I guess, appearances?
Yeah, pretty much the way it happens is we work with a couple different agencies that, bring these sort of artists to us. But also it's like, someone like Dave Chappelle, we didn't really have an agency bring him in. He just, I don't know how the fuck he found out about it. Maybe like a Google search or something like that, found a review or something like that. He just found out about it, he pulls up. There's some actor from Black Panther, Winston Duke. He just came in randomly on his want. Just stood there and then we walked him out, we said bye and that was it. Like, they just hear about the club and I guess its impact on the culture here in terms of Afrobeat, hip hop, R&B, that sort of thing. And like these artists and celebrities that come through, that's their culture as well. So they want to be in that environment with their sort of crowd. Yeah.
Which is sort of a culture that didn't exist until you guys sort of started it.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. It really didn't. Afrobeats was pretty much non-existent. There might have been the occasional one or two events that did it, but it was like for like a much older crowd and it was songs that weren't quite new at that point. Whereas we came in, this is around the time that Burna Boy and Wizkid and those type of artists were popping, like they had just started. So we played that to our crowd and it stuck, I guess.
Yeah. So when these guys come from overseas, it's like, I guess it must be like a great kind of thing for them because they're able to feel like they're closer to home, whereas beforehand it was just like giant clubs with commercial music.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So even Usain Bolt, bro, he when he MC'd, he goes, Melbourne, I love you. There's so many Africans here. He's full MCing. He feels real comfortable. He's running around the club. He doesn't have to be babysat like some of these artists that come through. He felt comfortable enough to just walk through the crowd, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. So you do a lot of these appearance stuff too, where they have you have a hip hop artist that come do 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah.
Can you run us through how that works and also to some of the ones you've done and your favorite ones?
Usually it's like if it's not an after party, it's just like a sort of club thing where I guess they get paid to be there. Obviously, that they'll come through. We'll organize. So I'll liaise with security and the venue, and we'll organize a way for them to get in quickly and safely, straight to the stage, and then from the stage we can walk them to their booth. It's not really much to it. I don't think it's just making sure that you communicate with the team and make sure that you get everyone in the right places and no one from the artist to their team get hurt. But some of my favorites, bro. We had OGZ. He's a rapper. I think he's from Shoreline Mafia.
Yep.
OGZ was one of my favorites. We had PME come through.
PME, wow.
PME came through, yeah. Raz B was in there. Nelly was in there. I want to send you a photo from my Instagram, bro. I'm telling you, it's a fucking sickest photo, bro.
Yeah.
Nelly was there, Bow Wow. It's like all these guys, not all of them perform, but most of them jump on the mic at some point and they interact with the crowd, and the crowd loves that.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely loves that, yeah.
That's cool, man. Like, could you imagine when you were kind of growing up, going through different trials and tribulations that you were going to be doing and meeting these sort of people?
Yeah, I actually had a situation at your venue at Empire back in the day. B.O.B.
Yep.
B.O.B. comes down. He's performing, bro. I'll be honest. I love B.O.B's music, so I walk straight through the front. I'm like singing along, like that whole B.O.B. situation. From that point, I knew like, cause if I'm able to see a celebrity this close, like potentially what's stopping me from actually talking to one, in the future. And it did happen. Some of the rappers up in Australia, sorry, like some of the rappers from here, like Hooligan Hefs, them boys, like being able to be around that sort of environment where you brought them around, and then we had
Yeah, I remember you guys were hanging out backstage
with
with
you
us.
guys where we DJ'd that event. We hung out backstage and shit like that. That it's pretty cool. From that point, I knew, like, I'll be honest, I'm probably gonna meet a lot of successful people, rich people, actors, famous people, whatever.
Yeah. And it must be cool, like, meeting other successful African people from overseas, especially in Australia, like where you guys have sort of been like, crucified by the media and whatnot. Now you're getting to meet all these other awesome, celebrities, fucking artists, DJs, whatever, where you live. Like it's a place that traditionally is, doesn't have that culture necessarily.
Yeah, of course. It's pretty sick, bro. It's pretty sick. I got this. I don't know if you know B2K.
Yeah.
The band, yeah. So one of the artists, I'm not gonna name the artist, but I don't know what it is, but he might have just had a problem with just white people in general. So me and one of our young boys, Prince, that works with us, we're trying to handle that situation, and we're asking Raz, how you doing? What can we do for you? And then the venue manager, white guy, he comes out through the back and he goes, hey Raz, he's being fucking super nice, like, hey Raz, how are you? Bro, the guy, oh shit, I already named him, didn't I? Fuck. All right, let's go back. Fuck it, yeah. Razvi. Like, a venue manager comes out and he's full being nice. Yeah, how are you? What can we do for you? And I think he said something like, just shut the fuck up, or it's my show. He just pops off at him. Yeah. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's happening? I go talk to the manager, like, yo, like, what's happening? He goes, I don't know. Then me and my young boy Prince, we go talk to Raz, and we say, hey, how are you? And he's like, oh yeah, nah, how you boys doing? Yeah, you guys are good, da. We try to walk him through. And he said, yeah, just give me a second. And the manager tries again. He probably goes, fuck off, no, it's my show. Like, he's just popping off for no reason. So from that point, I realized, guys, this black guy is very comfortable being in this club in a predominantly white country, but because I'm black, because of the people I'm working with, we're black as well. We've created that culture where black people have that space to be, safe. Even people who are coming from other countries feel safe here as black people,
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's a good point because, like, before you guys were doing it, it was predominantly white dudes or like European guys who were putting on these shows with these giant African American or African English artists. So it's a good point, like something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. It's insane, bro. It's actually insane. The amount of people we met is actually insane.
So when you were growing up, right, going through sort of coming here as like a African to Australia, predominantly white country, like how was that? Like was that challenging or not really? Or how did you find the Australians in general?
In the beginning, I just thought, like respectfully, of course. In the beginning, I just thought Australians were assholes. Like, I didn't speak the language. It's just the reception of me being like the only black kid around at that point. I wasn't popular, of course, Like even like at 5 years old, going to primary school, I didn't really have friends like that. I didn't speak the language. I actually had an interpreter follow me, like just follow me around, and they'd interpret, because at that point I was speaking Arabic. They'd interpret everything I was saying to the teacher. It was very fucking difficult, very difficult. But I feel like I've been able to adapt, and over the years, I feel like I'm very Australian right now.
Yeah.
Very Australian. From the way I talk, the way I dress, I just feel very Australian. Obviously, I'm still African, but I've sort of, assimilated into society, pretty much.
Yeah,
it's
for
not
sure.
hard right now, yeah.
And do you feel like it's changed since like when you first grew up? Like obviously now?
Yeah. Look, I think there's some people that still struggle with that, but a large percentage of us have pretty much assimilated into Australian society, especially the ones that were born here. And like I realized the ones that were born here, like early in the day, like let's say 2000s, 2001 to 2005, bro, they're like all like fucking 18 now, like they're all grown-ups now. And they feel very Australian as well,
Yep. And so as a country, like they feel as though it's like a safe place to grow and prosper and...
Guys, like I'll be honest, sometimes some of us, I feel like, especially the younger ones, they can connect to being Australian more than they can to being South Sudanese, because they've just grown up here. It's like they know nothing else but this. Obviously, they know some aspects of our culture, but they like the main thing that they know is here.
Yeah, totally understand that. And you guys are sort of creating that new culture for those guys to feel, for people to feel more inclusive of, and be able to like be represented as Australian Africans in a sense. What's the sort of changes that you've seen since, you first started and you're working against the grain, and now you're 6-7 years into your career? What's the changes you've seen in the nightlife industry or entertainment industry, being sort of a marginalized nationality?
Bro, shit's completely changed. Like I remember back in the day, we had the hardest times getting into different clubs, different venues. Like like just off the top of my head, I can think of situations where we've pulled up to a venue, perfect ratio. We've got more girls than guys. Everyone's dressed proper. We've got button-ups. So we've gone there and they've let the girls in and knocked all of us boys back. We've been in those type of situations, but now it's like I feel like since we started doing this properly, we started working on this over the years. We've developed a product where it's like we welcome everyone pretty much, but we've also created that space for our people to be able to come into clubs and be safe. And I feel like what we've also created, which isn't quite the best thing, is our people they find it very easy to get into clubs, very, very easy to get into clubs. It's like we can call it. Look, I'll be honest. I can call it black people club privilege, because you know how, in a sense, there was a time where if you were white, you get into the club. If you're black, sorry, brother, not tonight. Now it's the other way around. Now I can do that to people. It's like we've created that environment for us.
Yeah. That's cool, bro. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think one of the most recent ones, it was a club that we used to try to go to when we were younger, and they'd always knock us back.
What club was it?
I can't do that. I can't do that. Right, Miss Collins. Fuck it. All right, Miss Collins, back in the day, we used to try to get into the club, but we never were able to get into this club. Obviously, I understand they've got their certain crowd that they want to get in there, and we might not be there, yeah? But the day that we finally got into it, this was like maybe after 5 years of, let's say, trying every once in a while to get into that club. We brought some artists down from the UK, or we brought some YouTubers from the UK down.
Yeah, I was going to talk about this.
That day that we had them people, they let us straight in. I made a tweet about it. I said, look, our lives have changed. It's gone from, sorry, brother, not tonight, to right this way, sir. That's literally what happened, Chris. That's literally what happened. It was crazy to me. But yeah, it's gotten better though. Even Captain Baxter's in St. Kilda. Back in the day, when we used to go to the beach up in St. Kilda, we used to try to get into it. Obviously, at that point, we're still young. We might not be dressed the part. We might not look the part. But to say, maybe a year ago, we started working with them. They'd call us up, hey, we want you guys to have this many weeks, sort out some DJs, and we got you. Bro, we ended up doing a 5-hour set on New Year's. Me and Ollie actually, bro. People don't expect me to know how to play doof music. Yeah, I call it old doof music. Bro, I was in there, bro. Those white people fucking loved me, bro. I was playing proper doof music. They loved everything that I was playing, and shit like that. From not being able to get into the club to now working with the venue itself is such a big thing, And people don't see that. People never actually get to see that.
Yeah, but you guys have paved a lot of that way.
Yeah, of course. I feel like yeah, we made shit easier for a lot of people, bro. Because of the shit that we went through, now people are able to do whatever the fuck they want, pretty much.
And you guys should be proud of that.
Oh, 1,000%, bro.
Yeah.
1,000%, yeah.
And I think I think there's a lot of people in the industry that heroed you guys at the start, including myself. I'm proud of you saying that. Yeah, and because I feel like I was one of the first guys to give you guys a go.
You were the
and
first,
now, yeah, well, there you go. I was the first guy. So, and now I've watched you guys continue to prosper. And I watched, Ollie, yourself go into this full time. And I told you when I first met you, I was like, you can. This is going to happen for you guys. It's not something that's a privilege just for me. You'll be able to actually access this, and to watch it from the sidelines has been a fucking privilege for me. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So I want to say congratulations to you guys on that.
We appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. Hard work pays off. It took time, but we finally got here. And at the end of the day, we weren't even doing this for us. We wanted to do it for everyone who felt like us. People who couldn't get into the clubs. People who weren't able to have. Right, being able to go out and just have fun with your friends should be something that should be
everybody can
easily
do.
done. But it wasn't done. So the fact that we were able to create that is a beautiful thing for us. We love that we were able to do it. We love that everyone can now share in what we've created as well.
Yeah, it's mad. It's a shit go that was the case in the first place.
Yeah. But look, someone had to do it. It's like one of those where if we didn't do it, it would have been still kind of
100%. Yeah, for sure. So you talk about those YouTubers when you brought them over. Can you talk about that a little bit?
All right. So I think it was Ollie had gotten in contact with I think it was one of the boys' managers or sisters or whatever, Young Philly Chunks, the beta squad, them boys.
Yep.
They had gotten in contact with them, and they wanted to, South Australia. Obviously, they know that they have a big following. We got a lot of Africans and Somalis here that might support Chunks, and they watch the boys always. Yeah. So when Ollie got contacted for it, he made it happen pretty quickly. He just basically assembled his team of people like myself, Java J, Mera Nagasi, Koda, And obviously we have other people who have helped us, you know, with that project. But he assembled a team pretty quickly. We started an agency called Uncharted. We got these boys down, and bro, deadass tickets were out like, and 2 days later, all tickets were sold out, bro.
Yeah,
we did Chasers, did a big event there, and then obviously, I feel like the clubs down here, they're obviously all club and promoter people. They try to listen to what's going on around them, and people are going to hear that we've brought these people down. So Miss Collins had invited us to bring them down as well. We brought them down to Miss Collins. They had, by the time of their lives, we did like a full you know, private room for them, everything like that. We brought them to different clubs. It was pretty sick, bro. Like it was a different experience. I think that one experience opened a lot of doors for us, where clubs see us as serious people who can actually bring in artists and actors and people from everywhere. You know, now they take us a bit more serious. They're willing to work with us on bringing these sort of people down there.
For sure. And what was that like meeting those guys?
Bro, actually, bro, like sometimes I forget these people are normal people as well, bro. Like they just want to chill and be with their friends and have fun. They're pretty nice, bro. They're all pretty cool. I didn't really talk to a couple of them. Like I know Philly talks, so he talks a lot. So we spoke.
Yeah.
You know, Chunks, he spoke a little bit, but actually even Harry, the only one I didn't really talk to was probably Darkest Man at that point. But I get it. He's a quiet guy, you know.
Yeah. And so another one, which is, I guess, is going to go into you guys working with JD Sports, and I think it was Adidas you worked with?
I think we did an Adidas campaign, yeah.
Yeah, so what I always found weird was like, you know, you talk about this club culture where there's this like kind of white guys that are not necessarily willing to support the culture. But then from the corporate part, you guys have had some massive opportunities. You know, you guys have done stuff with Triple J, you've worked with Adidas, you've worked with JD Sports. Can you run me through some of those cool opportunities you guys have got from these sort of massive groups? You probably got supported from corporates before you guys got supported from the underground, which is not normally the way that it goes. You know, like it's normally the other way around.
It's crazy because I think, especially the JD thing, it's a community thing, bro. Like they see the community that we've built around us, and they see the type of people that we work with, the type of people that come to our events, you know, that sort of thing, the type of people that support us. And I'll be honest with you, if I'm a big brand like that, and that's the type of crowd that I want to work with, or like that I want, you know, buy my products, why not find the people who are the leaders of whatever you want to call it. The people
They're talking directly to the crowd that I want.
Exactly. Why not talk to them? Why not reach out to them? Because they could be the reason why, you know, people buy your shit, bro. So it started off with, this was like a beautiful thing where the first store that we opened was actually in our hometown. It was actually in Nari, like close to your venue, you know? That one.
Shout out Nari.
Shout out Nari, bro. Shout out Southeast in general, bro.
Yeah, 100%. All day.
That one store, the first store that we opened, bro, it was so fucking sick because like we're at home, cause like everyone that's coming to the store to buy shoes on the day when we opened it, we got the opportunity to DJ. They fully sorted out our whole crew. Everyone got, you know, top to, you know, head to toe.
I did. You guys hooked me up.
Yeah, even you guys.
Yeah, I went down there and got like fucking full outfit.
Everyone got head to toe. Everything. I remember. I don't know if they're too happy about this, but we all bought a certain shoe which was like $300. So we ran through their stock levels of that shoe pretty quickly. I made sure everyone in the crew had a pair. I said, everyone come here getting all the exact same.
What shoes were they?
The Evos, Nike Air Max Evos. They're like kind of chunky.
Yeah. I remember.
Right,
I remember you guys used to come visit me at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was I can't remember what shoe it was. The Asics.
Yeah.
And he's like, boy, you need to get black Asics. You need to get black Asics. And at one point, you boys were talking about buying me black Asics.
It was actually, I think it was TNs. We went to meetings on TNs, cuz.
I got onto them too in the end.
They're fucking sick, bro. They're fucking sick. But yeah.
Every time I see you, like, you got to get them TNs. You got to get them TNs.
For sure. But yeah, that JD store, everyone that came through to buy was like people that we knew, people who grew up with, people who, you know, neighbors, friends of a friend, whatever it was. And it ended up being a situation where, bro, like half our rhythm team actually ended up getting hired in that store. So it was like a real community feeling, bro. Imagine the same people you see being the ones to open the store, or the people who are on the flyers on the wall are the same people serving you in the store.
Well, I remember when I used to go there, and it would be your rhythm team. I'd be like, hey, what's up? I need shoes for my daughter. Yeah, like, exactly. I was talking to the people that used to come and were involved with you guys.
Yeah, bro, that's one of the coolest things, bro. It's like the fact that we were able to do that and then create jobs for people in our team is
that is cool. Yeah, it's really cool. And you guys did the Adidas stuff too?
We did Adidas. We did Nike. I think even for our tournament, like we have a community tournament.
Soccer club, yeah?
It's like 5-a-side. No, not soccer club. Like soccer tournament, 5-a-side. You know, different teams register. Like Unsolved has a team.
This is what you guys just gave me before?
Yeah, it's fucking sick, yeah. Unsolved has a team. Teams like AYA, like different community initiatives, clothing brands, Judah. They all have teams in this, you know, like we all get together for that. We work with Nike and JD Sports, and we have like a big day out basically where the community comes together. You know?
Yeah, it's super cool to see. Another thing you told me ages ago, so I want to bring this up, and I don't know if you remember this, but we're at like one of those meetings where it was a brotherhood meeting, so we're all sitting upstairs eating pizzas and shit. And you were talking to me and Ronnie Melbourne, and I said, because your real name's Atem, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then I said, why ATM? Can you explain to me why ATM?
I took the E out because I don't believe in emptiness, man. I don't believe in emptiness.
I love it, man. I remember when you said, I was like, fuck yeah. You said it so like straight faced to me, and I was like,
because I'm serious about it, bro. Like I straight up, you know. And at the end of the day, ATM plus money, it's like you can be mad at that, you know. It's like
100, yeah.
It works out, you know.
That's exactly it. So what's next for you boys?
Look, currently we're trying to get into, I guess, bigger things. We're trying to transition from the whole, I guess, club and just like small events sort of thing to bigger sort of stuff, festivals. But we're also trying to, I guess, venture out more into stuff that it doesn't have to be, you know, event related. It could be other business ventures. Can't say too much on it right now, but there's some big plans coming. Actually, to be honest, we have one big project coming. It's Rema. So with 333, one of the clubs that we work with and that Ollie's part owner in, they've actually landed that concept where we're gonna have Rema here and potentially somewhere else. But,
yeah, awesome. Yeah. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited to continue to watch.
No, for sure. Look, if it wasn't for certain people in this game, we wouldn't be, you know, where we are. Someone like yourself, Danny, you know, people like Boris Radman, Stefan Radman, you know, Martha, the queen of Chapel Street, you know.
Queen of clubs.
You know, like if we didn't have these sorts of people we met along the way, then we wouldn't be exactly where we are right now, you know. But we're grateful for those sorts of people, bro. Thank you for that again.
And I appreciate it too, man.
Backwards,
like because without you guys, I don't get to experience that culture and watch it emerge, which I love. Yeah, and like watching you guys kill it is just as fulfilling for me as it has been to fulfill you guys to continue to be a part of the next 20 years in this club / promotion / events game. You know,
of course,
cannot wait to watch you guys continue to kill it.
Thank you,
and thank you for being a part of my journey at the same time.
That's love. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I reckon we'll finish it up.
Thank you for having me, Danny.
That's right, man. You're a legend. So thank you so much for coming down. Before I finish up, I was going to quickly shout out my sponsors. Can you pass me that bottle? Just before we finish up, I've got to quickly shout out my sponsors. Without them, the lights would be off. So first up, the brand that I own, WP Shots. It's available, I don't know if you know this, but it's available at Liquorland, First Choice Liquor, and all good independents around Australia. And I've got a new sponsor. You ready to hear about this one? So it's called AAA Digital. If you've got an event, a festival, or a hospitality business and you want to expand it or fucking explode it, then AAA Digitals are your guys. Go check them out online. So thank you so much for coming down, brother. I really appreciate your time. And I can't wait, as I said, I can't wait to see what the next part of your journey looks like.
Thank you for having me, man. Looking forward to seeing, you know, what other things that we can do together as well, bro, in the future.
Legend, brother. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Cheers, bro.